Every night in America, tow truck drivers are doing the bank's collection work. They hook up to a 2022 Ram 1500 in a grocery store parking lot in Tulsa. They lift a 2023 Silverado from a driveway in Stockton at 2 a.m. They pull a Ford F250 Super Duty off a job site in Charlotte because the contractor who bought it at $71,000 is 4 payments behind, and the lender has run out of patience. These trucks do not disappear. They move through a pipeline so efficient and so deliberately hidden from retail consumers that the banks processing these repossessions have turned the misfortune of other borrowers into one of the most consistent wholesale pricing systems in the country. The trucks end up at closed auctions run by the same banks that wrote the loans. And the prices at those auctions would make your dealership's finance manager physically ill if he thought you knew they existed. Here's the scale of what you are not being shown. In 2023, American lenders repossessed approximately 1.1 million vehicles. The repossession rate on auto loans has been climbing steadily since 2021, as pandemic-era buyers who stretched into 84-month loans at inflated sticker prices began defaulting when the payment finally met reality. The average transaction price on a new truck in America is now $58,000. The average 84-month loan payment at current interest rates on that truck is $847 a month. When fuel prices spike, insurance rates increase, and a borrower loses a second income, the truck payment is the first obligation to go unpaid. The lender repossesses the asset. The lender is now holding a 2022 vehicle with 24,000 miles that cost the original buyer $61,000. And that the lender needs to convert back to cash inside 45 days. That 45-day window is a federal regulation, Regulation Z, under the Truth in Lending Act, governs how quickly lenders must liquidate repossessed collateral. The bank is not allowed to sit on it. The clock is ticking from the moment the repo driver drops it at the lot. That urgency is the gap. The bank needs the truck gone, you need a truck. The only thing standing between you is the rope the industry built to keep you from finding the auction. The repo pipeline moves in 3 stages, and most buyers only ever see the third one. The first stage is the lender's internal remarketing process. When a major bank, Chase Auto, Wells Fargo Dealer Services, Capital One Auto Finance, takes a vehicle back, it goes into their proprietary remarketing system. The cleanest, lowest mileage examples get offered first to franchise dealers through a closed dealer portal. A Chase repossessed 2023 F-150 XLT with 19,000 miles goes into the Chase Dealer Direct system. The franchise Ford dealer logs in on Monday morning, sees it listed at $27,400, and clicks Buy. He drives it to his lot, puts it through a $900 detail and inspection, and lists it as a certified pre-owned for $41,500. You never saw it. You never had a chance to see it. The bank moved it in 72 hours. The dealer made $13,200 in gross, and neither party needed you to understand how the transaction worked. The second stage is the wholesale auction. Vehicles the franchise dealers passed on because of higher mileage, minor cosmetic damage, or unpopular configurations, moved to physical and digital auctions run by Odessa, Mannheim, and a network of regional independent auction houses. These are the same auctions covered in previous videos. Dealer only, closed to retail. Trucks selling for $9,000 to $14,000 under retail value because the seller is a bank, not a car dealer, and the bank has a regulatory deadline. The third stage is where the retail consumer is allowed to play, but most do not know it exists. Every major bank in America is legally required to offer repossessed collateral through a process that permits public participation. Some banks run their own public auction portals. Chase Auto Remarketing, Wells Fargo's vehicle auction page, and Capital One's liquidation listings are publicly accessible websites that almost no one uses. The inventory is the same physical trucks that did not sell in the first 2 stages. The prices are not the rock bottom stage 2 numbers, but they are still 25 to 35% below what those same vehicles carry on a dealer lot. A 2021 Chevy Silverado 2500 LTZ with 44,000 miles and a repo history sits on the Wells Fargo vehicle auction page for $28,900. That truck is $41,000 at any dealer within 200 miles. The listing has been active for 22 days. The bank is going to reduce the reserve in 72 hours because the 45-day liquidation window is closing. If you had a saved search on that page, you would have known the reserve drop was coming. Nobody set up the saved search. The truck sells for $28,900 to the one buyer who happened to check the page. Everyone else paid dealer retail. There is a fourth source that operates entirely off the radar of the retail consumer and most small dealers. Credit unions run their own repossession auctions independently of the major bank networks. Credit unions hold approximately 26% of all auto loan originations in the United States. When a credit union member defaults, the vehicle goes through the credit union's own liquidation process, not Chase, not Wells Fargo, not Capital One. Thousands of individual credit unions across the country handle their own repo inventory, and they are terrible at maximizing recovery value. A credit union in rural Ohio does not have a national dealer network to call. They do not have a 72-hour remarketing system. They post the vehicle on their member bulletin board, maybe list it on a local classified site, and if it does not sell within their compliance window, they send it to a local independent auction that most people have never heard of and that sells 40 vehicles on a Saturday morning to a room of 12 people. A 2020 Toyota Tundra SR5 with 51,000 miles sold at a credit union liquidation auction in Dayton last spring for $18,400. Retail comparable was $34,000. There were 6 bidders. This is not a rare event. It is the standard outcome when a financial institution with no car expertise tries to sell a car. Here is your execution plan for accessing all 4 stages of the pipeline. Start with the public bank portals. Search for your target vehicle on Chase.com Auto Remarketing, WellsFargo.com Vehicle Sales, and CapitalOneAutoSales.com. Bookmark these pages. Set a calendar reminder to check them every Monday and Thursday. Those are the days when banks typically refresh their listings and adjust reserves. For credit union inventory, search your state's credit union league website. Most state credit union associations maintain a directory of member institutions. Call the lending department of every credit union within 100 miles of you that operates an auto loan program. Ask directly, do you hold repo auctions, and are they open to the public? Roughly 40% will say yes. The ones that say yes will give you a date and a location. Write it down. Show up. You will be one of 8 people in a room bidding on vehicles that have no business selling at those prices in any rational retail market. For Stage 2 wholesale access, the dealer license path from Video 7 applies here as well. With a state dealer license and auction account registration at Odessa and Mannheim, you are bidding against franchise dealers on bank direct inventory every week. The surety bond and annual fee that felt like an obstacle when you first heard about it now buys you access to 3 separate wholesale pipelines simultaneously. Fleet auctions from Video 6, depreciation cliff lease returns from Video 7, and bank repossession inventory here. These are not separate strategies. They are the same credential unlocking the same door that the industry built to keep you buying retail. Now the inspection discipline for repo vehicles specifically. A repossession is not the same as a trade-in. The person who lost this truck was not happy about losing it. In some cases, the last registered owner had 2 to 3 months between the default notice and the physical repossession, during which they drove the vehicle hard, skipped oil changes, and made no repairs. The maintenance interval from the last recorded service to the repossession date is an unknown. You are not getting fleet maintenance records. You are not getting service history from a motivated seller who wants to close a clean deal. You are getting a bank that knows nothing about the mechanical condition of the asset and cares only about clearing it from the balance sheet. Bring a full-service pre-purchase inspection. Verify the oil condition with a dipstick. not just the dashboard service reminder. Pull the transmission fluid and check the color. Dark brown or black fluid on a truck with under 60,000 miles means the previous owner ran it hard and skipped service. Run the VIN through the NMVTIS database in addition to Carfax. The National Motor Vehicle Title Information System captures title events that Carfax sometimes misses, including out-of-state salvage branding that was not reported in the original title state. A repo vehicle that was also a prior salvage in another state is not a deal. It is a trap wearing a bank auction sticker. The reason the repo pipeline keeps producing deals is the same reason the government auction pipeline keeps producing deals, and the same reason the insurance write-off auction keeps producing deals. In every case, the seller is an institution, not a person. Institutions do not have emotional attachment to the asset. They do not remember what they paid. They are measured on throughput and compliance metrics, not on gross profit per transaction. Every mechanic who has ever bought right understands this instinctively. You never negotiate hardest with a motivated private seller. You negotiate hardest with a bank, a government agency, or an insurance company, the entities that are legally required to move the asset and financially indifferent to whether you feel like you got a deal. The private seller needs to feel respected. The bank needs to hit its 45-day window. Feed the metric and the price follows. Every week in America, the institutions are moving iron at prices the retail market has no idea exist. The repo auction is simply the version where the bank's borrower did the hard work of establishing the vehicle's value by buying it at full retail and then handed it back. The next video covers the hidden fee structure inside every auction platform: buyer's premiums, condition report fees, transport charges, and the title processing costs that can silently add $2,400 to a vehicle you thought you bought for $18,000. You need to understand the all-in number before you set your ceiling bid on anything. Watch it before you register your first account. Subscribe to Truck Navigator. We follow the bank's timeline so you know exactly when their loss becomes your leverage.